Hello, ninjas and ninjettes, and welcome to another episode of the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Tim Cameron Kitchen, best-selling digital marketing author and head ninja at Exposure Ninja. And it came to my attention recently that actually some people don't know what Exposure Ninja is if they came in through our podcast. So basically, Exposure Ninja is a company that builds and promotes websites for businesses. So if you need more leads and sales from your website, then this is what we do. So you can head over to exposureninja.com/review. That's exposureninja.com/review. And what we'll do is we'll review your website, your digital marketing, and we'll take a look at what's going on in your marketplace as well. So having a look at your competitors, and we'll map you out a custom plan that you can follow to get more leads and sales from your website. It's completely free. It comes with no obligation at all. And you can head over to our Facebook page to see that it's got over 165-star reviews. So it's genuinely awesome. Anyway, in this week's episode, I'm joined by Sean Allen from a Canadian social media company called Viral in Nature. And in this episode, we're talking about the sort of content that you should be posting. And we also talk about live streaming and the power of live streaming. So how you can get started with it, some of the gear that you might want to use, and addressing the kind of misconception that a live stream has to be in any way polished or professional at all. So without further ado, enjoy the episode. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Thanks.
So Viral in Nature is your company, and you deal with a lot of small and medium-sized businesses, right?
Yeah, you bet.
A lot of these companies, they have relatively small marketing budgets. They have to prioritize. How important should social media be for this type of business? What's the potential upside from it?
Well, it does vary between industries, but this should be the major source of your focus of your marketing. With social media, when you're creating your own social media, it's like you're creating your own publication in itself. And the followers and stuff you gain today, most likely you'll have them for years to come.
Yeah. We always say to people, it's like creating your own magazine, isn't it, really, with your own readers? And then you have adverts to your audience, just like you would in a magazine. I guess it's like owning a media property.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually bring up a good point to not always have, all posts as sale posts, because it's like, people don't pick up a newspaper for the ads, they pick it up for the editorial. So.
Exactly. I guess most people treat their social channels like those free ads newspapers that no one ever reads and just went straight in the bin, whereas really they should be thinking more like a publication that someone actually wants to read and someone wants to buy. So Viral is obviously in your business name. And it's the thing that a lot of people really want to do, right? I want to get my Facebook videos viral. I want to go viral on Twitter or whatever. Most people haven't found the viral button on Facebook. So let's talk about that today. But maybe you could take us back. What was the first time you had a viral hit on social media?
I have been petitioning Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, to add a viral button, because I get asked all the time, can you make me go viral? And, we just hit the viral button and it goes viral.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
If only it were that easy. And sometimes, there's been times when we've put so much thought and energy into a campaign thinking it's going to go viral, and it doesn't go viral. And then we've done other posts where we just have some idea pop in our head and just random idea, happen to share it on Facebook, and it goes viral. But the very first time I had something that truly went viral is when I was in Vancouver, Canada. Here, hockey's it's pretty big. Anyways, our team had made it right to the very finals, last game to win the cup, and the Canucks lose. In Vancouver, we then started major rioting. There was major rioting that happened downtown. So not only did the favorite team lose, that we ended up trashing the city. And so there were many other Canucks fans that were not happy with that. So that while the riots were happening, I created a page that said Canucks fans against the riots. And I just created the page on Facebook. Then I shut it down and didn't even think about it till the next day. I go back on Facebook and I realized that there were 70,000 people on my page.
Wow. And what were people talking about, like specific issues? Were there arguments going on the page? Like, what was the conversation of?
Well, for the most part, it was really a bunch of Canucks fans who did not want us to be rioting, and but they posted lots of pictures from the riots. There were a few pro-rioters, which is really weird, but for the large part, the majority of people on the page were Canucks fans against the riots.
So next time there are some riots for Canucks fans, you're right in the right spot for them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So obviously, that wasn't an attempt to go viral. That was just something that you did. But you've tapped into really important things there, haven't you? Like the public sentiment, how Warren Buffett says, stand in front of the parade. And that's basically what you've done. You've found a group of people which are really passionate about something and that there's significant sentiment around. And then you've given them a page with some posts which exactly match that. So it's just genius, isn't it?
It just tells you timing is everything. And being able to, spot something that's on trend right at that time and do something about that right away is that can mean the difference of going viral and not going viral.
So a business owner who's listening and they're thinking, I really, I love that. I can see why that worked. How would they even begin to tap into something like that?
Let me give you maybe a couple more. I'll give you two examples of business related of something that went viral and something that did a lot of planning and didn't go viral. So I'll start with one that did go viral. So this was for a ski resort. It's Sunshine Village Ski Resort. It's an international destination. As far as ski resorts go in Banff National Park. So there was the park in there where it was their grand opening. And we also had a major sponsor of the park, which was Rogers. They're a very large cell phone company here in Canada. And there was a number of other social media influencers in Banff. So I invited all of them up to the mountain for this grand opening of the park, and we were going to have a tweet up. I had a live DJ there. We had all these speakers set up, and I mean we put a lot of work into it, and so it was but the one thing that we couldn't count on was the weather, and it turned out that the grand opening of the park, it was close to 30 below and a blizzard. So being in a blizzard on that mountain too, we couldn't even get cell reception.
Wow.
So nobody was even tweeting it. And actually it was, and in fact, it was so cold and so snowy. There weren't even people in the park. There was no one. It was just awful conditions. And it actually got so bad at one point with the wind is all the people who I had invited up, all my big social media influencers, they took shelter in this Quonset nearby from this blizzard because it was that bad. And there was just the one DJ out there for a while, spinning his tracks like by himself, really. And even he couldn't take it, so he actually went back to the Quonset. And I'm left out there, and I'm like, oh well, I better take shelter too. So I go as I'm walking, and the DJ, he's just walking into the Quonset. This big gust of wind comes and picks up this tent that where the DJ was and throws it like a good 200 feet in the air like it's nothing. I mean, we're talking metal and sail flying through the air. I mean, it could have killed someone, right? And I'm the only one that's seen it. So I'm like, meanwhile, now all this really expensive gear with all the music, all the speakers and everything, this is all getting pounded on by snow. And then I got this other flying piece of metal that's going down the mountain. I'm thinking, okay, what do I do? Do I go try and stop this tent from killing someone, or do I try and save the gear? Obviously, I go try and stop the tent from killing someone. So I go and I grab it, I got it, and there I am holding it, and there's no one around, and I can't let it go.
Oh my God.
So there was this, finally there was, I must have been there a good 20 minutes. So somebody finally came by, I had to wave him down. And then, so I told them to, go help. So by this time, all the gear had shorted out. The music wasn't even playing anymore. So anyways, that's one that, despite how much planning, we were hoping that we would be trending there, and that didn't. So not all the plans worked. Now I'll tell you one of the ones that has worked, and we actually won quite a few awards for this. it was the same resort, Sunshine Village. And this was the 4th day doing social media for them. So 4 days, no one even knew me yet. And on the 4th day, I say to them that so the mountain was set to open in a week for the season. And I asked them, I said, hey, would you mind opening the mountain a day early? And they all looked at me like, who the heck are you? Mountain, you know what that takes? What have you been here for 4 days? Like, you're crazy. But I managed to talk them into it. So what I did was a contest. So a social media contest where we picked 20 winners, and those 20 winners would get to ski the day before the mountain opened. So now we've got a prize that you can't buy.
Amazing.
And we also invited all the media up. So now they got pictures for their opening day instead of the day after opening day. And so what we did for our social media contest was we had to enter. If you're a season pass holder, you're already entered. If you're, and then we had on Twitter, you had to retweet using a certain hashtag, and you can leave whatever comment you want. But we said enter early, enter often, because I know some people are thinking, oh, why not just one entry per person? Why? Why would we do 1 entry per person? No, we want to get our influence out there.
Wow.
Because maybe 1 entry per person is more fair for everyone. Hey, this is business. Business doesn't have to be fair. We want the advantage. And sure enough, by doing that, we were trending in Alberta like for the entire week. If you look on trendsmap.com, you can pull up down to, and we were trending, and not only just for this one tweet that we had, there were actually even a couple words from it that were tweeting the entire time. So I mean, we got massive exposure off this, and then we ended up getting 3 awards that all mentioned that, all for the. So even though I certainly did ruffle some feathers at the mountain there, but after I won them all the awards, it didn't matter.
Dude, if it was my mountain and someone looking like you asked me to open it early, I'd freaking open it early. That's awesome. That's crazy. I love that. Enter early, enter often. That's such a genius line, isn't it? Without that, you'd just been getting 1 tweet at a time. Exactly.
And it doesn't matter. Like I said, business, you don't have to be fair in business. Why do the rules have to be fair? I mean, we want to win. When you've got any army general, when he goes into a battle, he doesn't want to go in even. He wants to go in. He wants to win. And
everybody gets 1 shot.
Exactly. But I think one of the moral out of both of those 2 stories is that go ahead and take risks and put yourself out there in those things that they won't always work, but the ones that they do work, they can be home runs.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I guess you took a massive risk in the first one and it didn't come off. You took a massive risk in the second one, you personally being new into that role, and it did come off. So as long as you're prepared that there's a chance it will work, a chance it won't work, you've got to do it, haven't you? You got to try it.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about influencers, because you mentioned in the first example, even though it didn't work, but you had all the social media influencers there for the tweet up. So how did you go about finding those guys? How did you know that, yes, this person is an influencer which we want, compared to someone else who might have a large following but might not be the sort of person that you want to get at the event?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're doing a lot of tweeting from an account, you learn who the big guys who are in town and interacting with some of the big Twitter accounts are. Then obviously, if you get big corporations in there, this is great when you do these types of events and you can get all these Twitter influencers together, and they want to, because when you get all these influencers retweeting each other, it's beneficial to them too, because they're getting their account retweeted by other people that won't normally be retweeted. But one thing I find, a lot of business owners, marketers get hung up on seeking out influencers and paying them to be an influencer and tweet out their product and service all the time. I mean, that's good, but when you do a return, you look at your return on investment, comparing that to what you would with Facebook ads and Instagram ads, most of the time that you're going to find that, if you want, when you want to grow or expand your reach, it's usually Twitter ads for the same, for the same price you might have given an influencer. Because it's, I mean, never before in the history of marketing have you ever been able to target exactly who it is your customer is through the Facebook ads manager, in particular Facebook ad. The other platforms, they're also quite good, but in particular, Facebook's business manager, the targeting settings on it are bar none.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable. I remember starting my first business and I was running magazine ads, and that the deal there was you spend, in that case, like £500, so like $700 on something. You've got to wait 2.5 months until it comes out, and then you might find out if it works or not. But if you're running a bunch of stuff, you wouldn't know which one had worked. And compare that to Facebook, where you can go on and hit exactly the same audience in 1 hour for £1. It's just a different league.
I mean, if I want to only go after women with 2 kids who are getting married in 3 months, who like knitting, and that's how exact you can be. Like it's kind of scary how much Facebook knows about us. That is the scary part. But it's accurate because we have told them what we like. We've told them. Well, some people may not put what the real age is, but we've told them all this information, and now that we're able as marketers are able to use that information. So it's very accurate.
Yeah. So you would typically advocate a kind of mixture then of some influencer outreach with some paid promotion as well, right?
Well, see, what I think is good for influencers when you do ROI is to have a tweet up. You get everyone together. So, but what I'm talking about is having that paid influencer that you pay all the time to promote a product. I mean, I'm not to say that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that you look at your costs, look at comparable to what it is for ads. And there are definitely some very good instances where you can use influencers, especially if it's only costing you product or service. So that's a good trade. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about, so say we're going to go and set up a tweet up.
Yeah.
We've been tweeting for a while on the account, so we know that we've got some people who are reasonably influential, or we know we've got some people that are very active, let's say, and have a decent following. How do we get on their radars about this tweet up? How do we make sure that as much as possible that the thing's going to be a success?
I mean, you could tweet them, you could private message them. That's usually how I do it.
Cool. All right. So maybe we could transition to talk about different types of content. What we've seen happen with Facebook is they went away from just pure time-based news feed to something which was more algorithm-based. And now Twitter's obviously done that as well with the while you're away stuff. So it's more about engagement. What sort of content should people be posting on each of these different networks to maximize their visibility? Because it can be so confusing.
This changes for each page, by the way. And this also changes not only for what are the other pages doing, believe it or not. If the other pages aren't doing as many videos, you put a video out there, then your video may start doing better than others. Some of the new stuff, like new content that you're able to post, like the 360 videos, those are going to get a lot. Live video is always, that one is very much, in fact, in a lot of cases, you'll page you follow, you may even get a notification when they start going live. So that one is very high on that ranking. Some of the other ones are video, photos, obviously. Links are down near the very bottom, but I wouldn't even count them out because it depends on your page. There's one of our clients is a political group, and believe it or not, some of our best posts that we got off those are links because they're links to articles, which actually now even in their case, it's now good because now that political group isn't sharing their opinion. They are actually sharing the opinion of someone else, which may add more credibility to what they're putting out there. But I mean, this Facebook page has a little over 50,000 followers. right now. But the engagement that we get on it, in fact, I just checked this morning on this. We're more than every political party in the province that I'm in. We're even more than the federal political parties, and even all the media news organizations in Alberta, all the big ones. We have more engagement than them, with the exception of one. There's one TV one. It's been mostly links we've been doing. So.
Wow. Okay, so it's not always people always think, 360 videos or live stream gets a lot of visibility, so we have to go there. But what you're saying there is actually the content is more important than the type of post that you're making.
Actually, what I'm saying is that your page, everybody's page is different, and you have to find the sweet spot. Yeah.
So I suppose it's also what sort of content your audience particularly engages with. I guess if you have a lot of links on your page and people start liking your page, the chances are they're there because they like links. And then if you go straight to video, then maybe some of them don't really interact with video so much.
We still get good engagement, as particularly from videos, but we've just found that some of our best, like we'll do mostly links. So you don't want to do, let's say videos work best for you. You don't want to do every post a video. You still want to mix it up. If videos work best, then maybe you'll find that like you want to do 80% videos and then 10% photos, 10% links, or mix it up that way. But normally links are the lowest, the interaction reach that you'll get, and live stream would be the highest, 360 video, and then photos.
Let's talk about live streaming, because I think it's something that for a lot of businesses it's just not even a possibility. It just seems so scary. The fact that we're going to let someone into our business live, we can't really control who's watching. What happens if people start saying bad stuff? What happens if no one shows up? There's loads of hassle. It's really scary. What's your take on the whole live streaming thing for small and medium-sized businesses?
Well, I think it's something that you really want to explore. And the first times that you do it, I think you should expect that there may be no one there. So don't say, hey, we're going to do a live Q&A if you've never done live streaming before, and then you turn it on and there's no one there. That may be a little bit embarrassing. So, but there is lots of different stuff that you can use for live streaming. And tell me, is this going to be video or is this audio? Because if it's just audio, this podcast that you do.
Well, I've got the video as well, so we can publish it on YouTube.
Okay, good. But for your audio listeners, I can describe some of the tools that we use. Tripod, these are always good. And yes, you're thinking live stream, but I need my phone to do that. Yes, you are right. So you want to make sure that you have the extension that you can put basically your phone. It's just a little thing you put on your phone, and so that way it's going to hold it steady. Now there are a couple of other cameras. And I can tell you this. There's one that just came out, which I quite like very much. This is one of my favorites. It's called Mevo, and this is going to run you about $400 or $500 Canadian. And what it does is, this is like a live studio in this one little camera right here. So you do live video from it. It connects to your phone, and this basically looks like if you have it's great for when there's a discussion. There could be 4 people talking. You set it on auto mode, and the person that'll talk, it'll zoom in, and then someone else talks, and it'll zoom into that one. So it looks like you have a camera crew, like a whole live camera crew with multiple cameras, and you do it all out of just this one little thing right here.
That is awesome. And that is Mevo, is it? Or Mevo?
Yeah, Mevo.
Okay, cool. So that's the gear. So we've got our live session piece. People might be worried that it has to be all slick and prepared, and that might stop them from doing it in the first place. Should they just set it up, go live, and just rock and roll? Just say what comes out of their mind.
Yeah, exactly. The polished pieces are great, but they don't all have to be polished. In fact, I would say the majority of them don't have to be polished. People want to see that. People want to see that a little bit more raw, sometimes, and that behind the scenes when they know that you're live streaming it from a camera that you're holding with your hand, it might be a little shaky. but they're kind of seeing it. It's almost like they were there. They're living vicariously through you. So by all means, those raw videos. Not every video has to be polished. In fact, I would say for a lot of people, maybe like 10% polished and 90% out there.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we used to do, we stopped doing them because I got too busy, but we used to do Q&As. So I'd have some questions prepared in case, for the first few minutes when no one's showing up. But the great thing about live streaming on Facebook, for example, is that Facebook starts building you an audience as soon as you go live, don't they? So it's pulling people in. So quite quickly, you get people asking questions, and as soon as they clock it's a Q&A, you start getting a ton of questions anyway. So if people don't have anything prepared, they're not sure what they should be talking about, you can just say, hey, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. I'm just going to show you some of our work, some of the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes here, and just roll with it, see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know there are, I don't know if Facebook does this for all pages, but it might do this for all pages. From what I can tell, there's pages that I follow, when they go live, I get a notification, whether it's on my phone or whatever, and I go right to it. Now, I don't know if that's 100% of the pages that go live or just the ones that I interact with a lot. That they may not even do that forever. So that's what I'm saying. Right now is the time to use that feature to grow your audience, because it may not be around forever.
For sure. Sean, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Where can people find out a bit more about Viral in Nature and you?
Oh, yeah, you can visit me at viralinnature.com. We are a multi-award winning social media agency. We manage social media for businesses, mostly small and medium, but we do have some large ones as well. Or you can give us a call, 403-454-2899, or in North America, our toll-free is 1-844-403-2899.
Amazing. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Alrighty. Thank you for listening to this week's episode, Ninjas and Ninjettes. And don't forget to head over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review if you found it interesting. Now, don't forget, if you need some more leads and sales through your website, you want to figure out how you can promote yourself better online, then head over to www.exposureninja.com/review and request your free review and bespoke marketing plan. We'll take a look at what you've got going on at the moment. We'll have a look through your website. We'll have a look at what your competitors are doing and map you out a custom plan that you can follow to generate more leads and sales online. It's completely free. There's no obligation, and it's freaking awesome. See you next week.